So we're at Emir's e-commerce live, talking to Eric Heller of Wunderman Commerce. What have you been talking about today?
So today I was really talking about both the advance or the entrance of Amazon into the Netherlands, but also a different way to think about working with Amazon. A lot of people shop on Amazon, but they think they understand it, but in reality it requires an entirely different approach.
And what is important for entrepreneurs that want to work with you to work on Amazon?
That's a great question. That want to work with me, or in general, let's start with want to work with Amazon. So in general, for entrepreneurs that want to work with Amazon, what's really important is to really understand it requires a very different approach. You're not thinking about your campaign and your message first. You're thinking about what are the products in the search keywords? What are people looking for? How are they going to find my product? Is it already a crowded category? And if so, what will enable my product to stand out? The reason why, I can't just have a great idea for a new product on Amazon and hope that people find it. Amazon is terrible for products that people don't know they need, but it's great for products that people are already looking for or for something they're looking to solve. And so if your product fits that, well, then people will find it. So thinking about that, understanding the competitive landscape is critically important. Then of course, you said working with us. What I would say is the majority of the companies we're working with through WPP are large brands, but there are many, many opportunities, I think, really to find a consulting partner to really look and say, okay, great, we think we could be huge in this space, and we're ready to attack it. The thing I look for most are brands that are ready to disrupt the marketplace, really come in, change everything.
What are some of the mistakes that you've seen people make at Amazon?
Wow, that's fantastic. The number one thing I would say is I think the assumption is that media solves everything, spending money to drive traffic. But in reality, that's like pushing the gas down on your car. Do you say pushing the accelerator, pushing the gas, but with the brakes still on? Like if the page doesn't convert, you have to have the right order of how you work. First, get the right product that people are looking for, then get the search keywords right so people can find it, then fix the page so that people will convert. Can people buy this product? Is it even in stock? Then finally, spend media. If you go the other way and say, well, let's just start spending, we're launching, we have to have a big campaign, then you'll have a bunch of people go to a page where they can't buy the product.
So first fix your page, then spend money.
During do it anyway, right? If I was at the grocery store down the street and I said, well, let's just put a big sign up front, but the product doesn't come in for 2 weeks, that would be a waste. Same thing.
Excellent. During your presentation, you also talked about the importance of image. So what are some of the best practices that you know?
The number one thing I would really say, I'm glad you caught that, by the way. The number one thing I would really say is that images, the number one thing to think about is, sure, your number one main image on Amazon always has to be the product and what they get in the box on a white background. But nothing else after that has to. So a lot of times what we say is you need to think about, this is basically a magazine ad. What do you want people to say? Are you really describing the image? We use the word infographic, but really communicate the key things you want. And remember that more than half of all searches are in mobile. And when you're on a mobile phone, all you see are the image, not the copy. Make sure you flip through and have all the right content there.
Excellent. And what about Amazon entering the Netherlands? Do you have any information on this? What are your thoughts?
Wait, hold on a second. I know the exact date and hour. No, I don't actually. So, some people think it's tomorrow. I heard yesterday many people came to me and said, don't you know it's the middle of September? Your guess is as good as mine. I'd rather say that everything we talk about today, everyone in the room here could be doing it, selling on Amazon in Europe. The fact that they're coming to the Netherlands only adds gasoline to the fire. And so I think that what I would say is, great, in preparation for that, I'm not sure that people shouldn't be selling on Amazon in the UK right now, and then using that as a way to learn how to be first mover here in Amsterdam or Netherlands.
And we already have a strong Dutch marketplace, so what's the benefit for Dutch consumers to switch to Amazon, and do you think they will switch from a Dutch brand to an American brand?
Before we talk about consumers, let's talk about Let's talk about brands. What's the benefit of brands? We already have a strong Dutch marketplace, but here's the thing. When I asked everyone in the room to raise their hand if they buy on Amazon, every hand went up. So they're already buying on Amazon. So the benefit for brands is to be where your customers are, even if you aren't going to sell a lot. Even if you're not planning to use Amazon instead of another channel, are people reading the reviews and ratings there? Do you need to fix your page? Is your product listed by a third party and you don't have any control? All of these are key questions to ask.
That's very clear. Maybe my last question, what is your best piece of advice for brands considering to start selling at Amazon?
It's not a sales platform. In other words, you can't, when you think about building out your team, make sure you have the right skills. The number one skill you really want is someone who can really run analysis. Look at the data. There are so many tools to pull data about Amazon. You can find them all. That's not the problem. The problem is analyzing the data you get. People say all the time, I don't know if in the Netherlands you use this term, they call it, in the US they say it's a black box. They say, I don't have any data about Amazon. It's a black box. I don't know what goes. And in reality, almost our experience, every time someone says that, they're not looking at the data they have. And in order to do that, you have to have someone on your team that can really look, understand how to prioritize and be better, smarter than your competitor.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time, Eric.